Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Hello again, everybody. This is the Coach Shannon Griffith, and I welcome you to another edition of the Hoosier Football Tailgate right here on the Believe Network. Victory Monday, I guess we could all say, with a very resounding defeat of our opponent on Friday night against the Western Illinois Leathernecks, as they had a trouble getting off the bus or something, because I tell you, that score 77-3 was, it was astonishing to see a team click like Indiana did Friday night. I understand that FIU is from the football, conference subdivisions, and of course they're going to be a step or two behind Indiana, but at the end of the day, to see Indiana put up 77 on them and break a record, or reestablish a record, I should say, in scoring in a game, it just was a pretty good night in B-Town to see that all there on Friday night, as the Hoosiers, like I said, started from the get-go. And we talked a little bit about this on Thursday on the preview show, of Indiana coming out and starting to put the nails in the coffin early and not give any hope to Western Illinois. And I thought they did that from the get-go. Western defers the opening toss, and I don't know if I would have done that, but they chose to do that, and Indiana went down the field and got a big points on the board right away. And when you can do that, it helps the defense. It helps the morale of the team, especially if you're doing it off of big plays. And of course, that was that Addison Colby's 38-yard touchdown pass from Curtis Rourke. So before we get into all that, let's do a little bit of pay some bills, I guess you could say here. I want to thank BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all things football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads to bet during the games. You think you know your stuff? Well, get in our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance to win a weekly prize and a share of that jackpot of $200K. When the game's over, head over to the online casino there with BetOnline and get in a game of blackjack or even poker. But when you've had enough of that, you can jump in over at the slot machines. We have well over 150 different slot machines there at BetOnline, and head to that website today, get in on all of the action, and remember, BetOnline, the game starts here. Also want to thank those affiliates that are with and join the Hoosier Football Tailgate. You can find those on my bio page, especially on X or Facebook or Instagram. That will give you a list of all those, and at our website, that is HoosierTailgate.com, HoosierTailgate.com, and you can get all that information there. Thank them for being a part of it. And just as a side note, if you do decide to purchase something from one of our affiliates, we are given a small commission for that sale, just so that we're fully transparent and upfront. Now we've done all that. Let's get on to this game against Western Illinois. A couple things before we get started. I've had a bunch of questions about this, and I think it's a valid question to ask. And I think you have to understand what all transpired that end up having Western Illinois appear on Indiana's schedule. Last year, this was the week that they played Louisville down in up in Indianapolis against the Louisville Cardinals and Jeff Brom, and we were in Indiana was to return the trip this year, but Scott Dolson was able to buy out of the contract and schedule Western Illinois on the schedule. And That's how Western Illinois ended up on the schedule for Indiana. At the time of this buyout last year, there's probably not many teams available to play because usually you're at least 2 years out, if not 3, and some even go beyond that with their non-conference contracts. So the fact that he was able to get Western Illinois was probably, hey, it made a lot of sense for them to come to Bloomington travel-wise. It saved money. Indiana was able to provide them, I believe it was like $450K to play in Bloomington, which, you know, something of that magnitude probably covered all their expenses and then some when they came here to Bloomington on Friday nights. Now, the big question is, how does a game like that help Indiana when you are just that much better on the scoreboard than what may appear in front of your eyes on the field? Well, this is where you got to get into a little bit of objectivity in watching what occurred on Friday night. You saw an offense that I believe scored on 9 straight possessions, if I'm correct. It's something like that, where they were able to move the football at will, and they did it running the football, they did it throwing the football, they got chunk plays down the field, something that they didn't get a lot of against FIU. Their pass pro had improved greatly in that regard. So the quarterbacks, whether it's Curtis Rourke or Taven Jackson, who came in and performed on Friday night, were able to run the offense pretty air-free in terms of assignments. And the quarterbacks were able to do the things they needed to do to have a successful play, especially on the ones where they're taking the balls deep. And that was good to see, because the week prior against FIU, there were some down the field shots missed. And part of that was the pressure that the quarterback was feeling against FIU and not being able to get into his progression fast enough and ultimately dumping it down real quick. So there are some things that play into that, but it was good to see the protection by the offensive line taking another big step forward under the leadership of Bob Bolstead. You cannot be thrilled with for those kids that are playing on that offensive line, getting the performance that they're getting as a football team from their offensive line. And then, of course, the running backs all ran well, ran with authority. The wide receivers did what they needed to do, run blocking downfield to spring some big runs, as well as running precise routes. Then you flipped it over to the defense, allowing only 3 points. That's a total of 10 points in 2 games. They were, in a lot of ways, completely dominant on the up front against Western Illinois. Western Illinois only had a net of 12 yards rushing, a ton of TFLs. You know, they had 49 yards of TFLs and sacks. The quarterback had a day where he was getting hit from every which way, and he ended up 13-25 with 2 picks. One went for a pick 6, I believe, 109 yards. But the big thing is what Western Illinois gave up 6 sacks. We're going to go over that here in a second, just to familiarize ourselves with it. Don't want to allow a lot of time on this, because honestly, the reality of the matter is they were not a up-to-speed program. New staff, new head coach, new everything, 65 new players on their roster. So there was a lot of things coming in that game Saturday that were against Western Illinois. One of them being they don't even have an identity yet. I'm not even sure they could tell you what they are, from an offense perspective or a defense perspective. On defense, they've got a lot to clean up because they're just letting way too many big plays occur. So whether it's scheme, whether that's personnel, I'm sure Coach Davis will address it going forward. But for Indiana, you didn't see a lot of that. Now, there were a couple things that I noticed a little bit in the secondary that were probably some blown assignments. And against the team Western Illinois, you get away with those things, but you will not be able to get away with them against a very, very good football team like UCLA next Saturday, because Gerbers will burn you. I mean, you make a mistake and the ball's going over your head. So there are some things there, but overall as a defense, just another dominating performance by those guys on the field. Congrats to them, the coaches, and the game plan. And hey, at the end of the day, it's a win. It became an ugly win because of the score being so lopsided. Yes, they broke a record that has stood the test of time for most part. They racked up some over 700 plus of yards of total offense on the day. So, those type of games are good and bad at the same time, because this is where Coach Signetti and his coaches are probably going to be doing their best work for the season. They're going off. They've got a team that has won 2 in a row, feeling pretty good about themselves. And now you worry about the complacency and the level that they got to get to this week in practice. Those are the things that they will fight. And I hope they don't, but I know that they're going to be on guard for it, is the complacency to sit in that we're 2-0. We just hammered Western Illinois. We put 77 on them, and our offense is rolling, and they're going to keep averaging, 36 points a game. And we're going to still give 12 yards of offense. And, that mindset will get you beat. That's the mindset that gets you beat, because you're playing an opponent that is faceless, nameless. You're playing the guy in the jersey that you're wearing, because like we said, each and every week we want to get a step better. And I can honestly believe that you can answer the question, did Indiana get better against Western Illinois? I think you can, based upon the execution aspect of things that we're seeing during the game. So yes, they got better. No, it's not the greatest team to play against, but you never discount a win, because a win is a win is a win. And like Kirk Signetti said, he has no control over the schedule. He just plays it. And who's ever in front of him, he's going to prepare his team to go up against them and do their best in terms of what he expects of them. And we're kind of seeing that game plan evolve in front of us each and every week. And the mindset that he talks so diligently about being a team that is relentless, that is physical, that flies around, and things of that magnitude. We're starting to see that evolve in front of our eyes each and every week. And they got to take one more big step this week. And on Thursday night, we'll take time and go through this UCLA team that only has played one game. They had a bye this week. They eked out a win over in Hawaii, but when you get a win over there and all of the things that you have to go through in terms of travel, a win over there, in my mind, is like winning twice, because of the things you're up against with the big time travel situation and things of that magnitude. But you got to be pleased with it. And we'll talk about UCLA on Thursday when we get the opportunity to break them down and go through them pretty good. Now, remember, defensively, nothing much is going to change. They maybe went after the Hawaii quarterback with their pressure packages a little bit more than the former coordinator did that's at USC now. And Eric Bieniemy is now the offensive coordinator. And so there's not much to go on that other than what is put on tape at Hawaii, and then what he's put on tape in the NFL. So I'm sure Coach Signetti and the offensive staff has tried to study as best they can the groups of people that they're going to be playing as it pertains to this coaching staff, to get a plan together, both offensively and defensively, that they can go out there and feel good about themselves and confident, and try to go get another one. Now, we talked before the season how these type of games that Indiana's approaching here, especially 2 out of the next 3 weeks, are the wins that you got to have in order to have the season you want. And this will be a monumental task for them. I know people are riding high, and everyone should be feeling confident. Absolutely. Why they're a 2-point favorite, have no clue. But at the end of the day, to think that we're going to go to Pasadena, and steamroll UCLA. I got another thing for you. They're going to be tested like they've never been tested yet this season. We're going to see how they react if they face adversity, and so is Coach Cinetti. And we're going to see how these guys lead when things are going wrong as opposed to things are going right. And that will tell us a lot in this game against UCLA, even though Indiana comes in as a team that's a little bit better condition, having played 2 games. So we'll see what happens there as it pertains to that. Let's go look at these. Let's see if I can get my next thing up here. And let's see. I think it's this one. Yep, there we go. Here's the game from Saturday with all the different statistics as we can see there. And again, Justice Ellison, 117 yards on the ground, a big chunk play of 47, 2 TDs, tremendous work that he's put in. The way he runs the football, I love it because he runs with reckless abandon. And what I mean by that is he gets in his, takes the ball, gets in a great position to run the ball with his body lean and pad level, and he gets the yards that maybe you wouldn't expect him to get, and then you might see him pop out the other end, and that's what happened. Kobe Martin, Tyson Lawton, I love Lawton. I mean, I think that kid, not only from a leadership standpoint, he does well in the backfield, and it was good to see Kobe get some snaps in there. He had a good day. Tyson saw a good day. Elijah Green again, another touchdown, 31 yards, and then Black was able to get in there for 30. And then you see where Taven was next in there with a couple off of his performance was good in that arena from getting a touchdown and on the board, as did Curtis Rourke get his first touchdown rush, carrying it in for the Hoosiers. Passing game, I tell you, this is what you call on fire. Taven was perfect, 3 for 304 yards, a touchdown, which I think went for 69. The way he came in to play, ready to play at that, very impressive. You would venture to say, with the way that game was, that there'd be a lot of backup quarterbacks that wouldn't have the mindset of going in. And if they did, it was going to be a long time for that to occur. He came in ready to play and led some drives for scores. He scored one. He threw for one. So I'm very happy for Taven Jackson and what he was able to do coming off the bench to get some time. And I know Coach Signetti probably feels the same way with Taven. It was good to see get the other guys in, Cherry and Mendoza. And then receiving, how about Surratt? Six catches for 37 yards. Cooper, again, four receptions, 130 yards. Big play after big play in that breakdown there. Only two incomplete passes, 3 touchdowns, and 3 chunk plays that went for, I believe, scores as well. So again, the passing game from A to Z on point. Give it up for the offensive line who, protected all night long. First team, second team, however you want to look at it. They did a great job in pass pro. And again, take that next step will be nice to see. And then, of course, over here with them, they're big guys. I mean, they didn't have any big runners or anything of that nature. Davis had the one for 19 yards, and the quarterback 5 sacks. 2 picks. I know one was for pick 6, if not 2. So just a dominating performance by Indiana. Here's a little bit more of a true breakdown of what it looked like at the end of the game. 323 yards rushing to 12. 378 yards passing to 109. I mean, it was just ugly from the start. I mean, Indiana had 701 total yards after 68 offensive plays. And then down here in the third down category that I look at quite a bit, look at that, 7-9 for the Hoosiers. I mean, that just tells you how effective they were on first and second downs during that ball game, that they were able to get first downs with probably a majority of them being third and short and maybe at a time medium, but they got 2 big first downs. Again, they did a great job of everything on that night when it came to that. Just some of the tackles. Again, Aiden Fisher leading the way. What a player he is. Lena Carr, again, I like him as well. Jones, Kamara, all in there. Tucker, he's done his thing. All of those guys. I could sit here for hours and go through a bunch of these guys and say what a job that they did. But I think we all know it. They've done pretty good as it pertains to the game and how they played it. Yeah, just a couple things I wanted to check here. If you look at this, Indiana's first drive was 5 plays, 68 yards. Then it was 1 play, 71 yards. And then the next drive started into quarter 2, I think. Yeah, and then Indiana came out and scored again. This time on a 9-play, 67-yard drive that they scored on Friday night as well. So, again, just a dominating performance by the Hoosiers. There's nothing more you need to say about it, critique about it, put it away. You can re-celebrate it at the end of the year when the season's over. But for everyone, this is just the first step towards what everybody hopes this year will be, and now has a little bit more belief that will occur, about getting to that magical 8-9 type of win season. But you can't get there until you get through UCLA on Friday night. So they still got a little bit in front of them, that's for sure. Let's watch some of the game over here in Coach Griff's video room, sponsored by Quick Cut, and just kind of go through some of the highlights of the game. There wasn't much of anything there when it came to it. This is a game that, again, like I said, let's see, get the right picture, that we had a really good day on for everybody. This is the first play of the game, and you see what Curtis was able to do here. True play action pass, sets right on up. Nice ball. And nice hits Addison right in stride. Then this one down here, again, down there in the end zone area, tight. And this is the thing that Indiana does well and gets up and scores. A good hard run by Justin there. He using his body and such because I like the way he runs. Okay, next series, Taven again. Good pass pro. Look at that. I want to show this because I think this is a good point out. Look at that pass pro. You got the semblance of what we call a bowl, that the quarterback is in the apex of that bowl, and that's what you want to see from your pass pro. Very clean look for him. It's given Surratt, who's down at the bottom, to run his route. They're running a little bit of a crossing route. We used to call I would call scissors route. And really, this is a good man beater, 2-man beater, because you're picking off the corners and the safety and all this. But you'll see he gets knocked off there, but because of the play action and the ability of the offensive line there, he was able to hit him in stride, and that's a big play. But that goes to the offensive line right there. So huge for them. Yeah, same play, dummy. Okay. Again, offense. This is this one here, I believe, is. Okay, see. That may have been Lawton on that one. He ran a good play from the start. Again, good blocking. Again, good blocking here. Nice hard run. That's a great effort. That's a great effort. You don't, I mean, he's got one guy hanging on his leg, and he does a great job here of reading the hole, sliding in the hole, breaking a tackle, and getting himself in the end zone. And right there's, I believe there's 7th straight score. Elijah Dreen getting his shot on the night. Good old rugby scrum. Good to see them there pushing things in from 1 yard out. Okay, this is Justice again. Look at this, Ellison. Again, good blocking up front. Good blocking all the way. Boom. And he's off to the races, and I don't think Western Illinois wanted too much after that. I just got a feeling that they were all but done after some of these plays that you can see the end zone copy here. Great job. Watch the offensive line here. Watch these guys up front block this inside zone. They do a good job. They get Western Illinois moving, and they just touchdown, baby. Whoops. Now, this is Taven's touchdown. I'll watch this throw by Taven because they're bringing a little bit of a pressure. They're, bringing some outside heat. What he does a great job of here, he hangs in there, doesn't bail out, and throws it with a guy in his face because this is the guy he's got to beat with his throw. That was a great block, but, man, look at this throw. Held him up just a little bit, but if you look at it from that perspective, wow, what a great throw and catch. Let's see if we get some defense in here now. He beat him so bad. Yeah, here's some defensive ones. Again, just total domination. Look at this. This is a great job by the defensive end here. He's coming off the edge. They're kind of going into a zone pressure there and getting a big interception there on the play. And the guys are pretty excited about it. This one goes for 6. Again, bringing pressure and their zone dropping it. So they're going pressure, showing too high. The quarterback's getting a too high look. And then at the snap of the ball, they're bringing a defender from the field over the number 2 man. And the safety up top on the hash near us is going to drop into the flat curl area. And the safety, you can see him cheating already because he's got the middle third. So, again, this quarterback, just his eyes go right to he's staring him down. This is an easy pick for the linebacker. Again, nice little stunt. Thank you very much. And the Hoosiers win. And like I said, I wanted to just show a couple highlights there of what Indiana did, because at the end of the day, regardless of the opponent, Indiana did what they needed to do. They got a big W against a team that they knew they were better than, but they proved it. They never gave them any hope. They started putting the nail in the coffin on the first drive, and for like 7-8 straight drives, it was, they had most of the coffin closed up by by the number of the scores they had. And then they came out in the third quarter and, continued playing at a high level. So good job by the kids and the coaches preparing that. Good job by everyone involved, the guys that came off the bench, the second teamers and third teamers, or however you want to look at it. Those guys don't get a lot of work in practice, but those guys came in and did well, played at a high level. I talked about Taven, so happy for that kid and him having success on when he got in that ball game, because Indiana, they need him. They need Taven, and he's got to be ready because he's a snap away from being the guy. And it was very good to see Taven in that regard do what he did on Friday night. So we're going to be back here on Thursday night as we get ready for the UCLA Bruins and the Hoosiers on a football Saturday night. 7:30 on NBC from the Rose Bowl out there in Pasadena, California. Those that are going, I hope that you have a safe travel, but we'll remind you of that on Thursday because a lot of people will be heading out Wednesday night and Thursday. Kind of odd that I think that Coach Signetti said today that the guys got a bus up to Indy to hit their flight from there, which I thought maybe they had a big enough runway that they can get places there at the airport to come and get them. But evidently they have to go up to Indy to get this flight. And so hope everyone has a good flight on Thursday. But we'll talk about the Bruins. Coach Foster and his ball club also 1-0, had a bye week, but did beat Hawaii on the road 16-13 in a very good second half performance, especially by their quarterback, who does a lot of good things. And they got a really good defensive line, one stellar defensive lineman, linebackers that can run for days. So this is going to be the best defense that Indiana has faced, of course, at this point. So we'll have all that on Thursday when we break it down. I appreciate you joining us here tonight. Remember the Bet Online in terms of for all your needs in the world of sports gambling with football, NFL, and college. They are the best to go to, so remember that. But also remember, give us a visit at HoosierTailgate.com, the website, as well as other social media entities, and either follow or if you could give us a rating, especially on the podcast, whether you're at Spotify or Apple, give us a rating there. Helps us out a ton. I really appreciate that. But again, thanks again for watching. For right now, this is the coach, Shannon Griffith. We'll see you Thursday night, all right here on Believe.